Seen in the book I'm reading, Tai Pan. It's a book about the foundation of Hong Kong. It's a novel, actually, but it's one of those novels that I think has a lot of, history behind it. James Clavell is known to write about these things. Uh, Maybe just for new listeners, why are we talking about books here at the Not Even Wrong podcast? It's part of our DNA to read a lot because the way we consider our business, we're in the knowledge business here at Orange Capital Partners, and knowledge is a fickle thing. It requires a lot of different trajectories and avenues, and one of them is reading books. So it's a lot more than just a pastime of a hedge fund manager, and I can only highly recommend reading books. Whether you want to read the books that we recommend or the books that it doesn't really matter. I think what matters is reading books. And I just want to paraphrase Flea, the bass player of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He was asked about music, and he said, "Well, which music do you like?" And he said, "I like all music. There's no such thing as not liking music. Even the most trashy pop music gives me something." And I think it's the same with literature. There's no such thing as bad literature. You can learn from everything. Some things you like, some things you don't, some things you resonate with. That's fine. But so this book is really interesting. It's timely because we just came back from China. I think here at Orange Capital Partners, we're going to start investing a lot more time and effort in China for various reasons. But I think mostly driven by interest. I think that's the key. We're really interested in China. China is interesting. It has different facets. It has culture, it has civilization, and it's also progressing fast. It has problems, pollution, urbanization, dehumanization. It has the CCP to deal with. So there's a lot of problems. It's interesting. It's much more interesting than Europe. It's not as interesting as where we live. I think we are still in the best place in the world for various reasons. But China's interesting. And Taipan, there's an interesting scene. I'm going to talk about this book a lot more. I'm not even 1/3 into the book, but there's a scene where the Taipan, Dirk Struen, puts his son at test. And the scene is the following. So there is the land sale of Hong Kong. Hong Kong has just been declared a colony of the crown, and there's a land sale, and Struen wants to buy the most precious piece of land, and his main rival, Brooke, also wants that piece of land, and everybody expects a bidding war that will ruin one and make the other one owner, or actually ruin the owner, and have the other one sort of laugh at his emissary. And then his son actually solves the problem by running the auction and taking the piece of land and give it to the church. So he avoids the bidding war, but he crosses the Taipan. He crosses his father, the Taipan, Dirk Struen, which is unheard of. People die for much less than that. So there's a scene where the father takes the son, after all this has been done, to the knoll. He walks up the hill. He wants to be in private. Everybody expects him to kill his son. I mean, that's the kind of person the Taipan is. But then, of course, he says, "No, son, I'm proud of you. You've proven yourself. You crossed the Taipan. You've gained face. Everybody will respect you now. And you've solved my problem. We've solved all the problems in once." And I want to use the scene as a sort of trajectory into our general idea and the work we're doing with Orange Capital Partners, because it's important. This is a very, very important little anecdote that I think encompasses a lot of, I think, what we stand for here at Orange Capital Partners. What do I mean with that? Well, first, I think investing money is, in the end, it's investing in people. And it sounds like an empty phrase at this point, but it's not. It is important to invest in the right people. There's a reason why Jensen is running the largest company in the world, and there's a reason why Elon Musk is who he is. These individuals make a difference. And I think, just take one example, like, who are you crossing is often defining who you are. Elon Musk crossed with many people, and he keeps crossing, for example, with the EU right now, and it's the right thing to do. The EU is a bad situation for for the people in Europe and for everybody else. It's good for a few elites in Europe, but it's bad for everybody else. And it needs to be crossed against. Now, whether he succeeds or not, whether he's going to have to pay a high price or not, that's a whole different conversation. But what matters for us investors is that he stands up, that he has that, because if you cross with a power like the EU, you will gain respect everywhere else. So I think that's a very important lesson. I think Tai Pan is a book, it's written in a very sort of unassuming way, and that's very Chinese. I think Clavell does a good job in portraying China in a Chinese way. Nothing is clear in China. Nothing is, the symbol of China is a circle. The symbol of Christianity is a cross. So the Western civilization, which is based on Christianity, is based on clear lines, on clear demarcation lines, on edges, on orthogonal angles. That's how we function. That's how we've been able to develop technology and the scientific method and a lot of things that came from there. We chose to have one God. We chose to be clear about what we can do and what we cannot do. We chose to be clear about the law. Now, unfortunately, some of these things are fading. Western civilization is at risk of being actually invaded by other forces, communism, Islamic forces. Also within, we have a left-wing communist insurgents by people who are actually native to our culture. So it's happening like it's what happens to empires, and that's what freedom, the price of freedom is, that you have to sometimes you leak, and it's our job to protect that. But I think I wanna talk a little bit more about the way Tai Pan, the book, is portraying China and what it means for us as investors. China is a lot about face, and this face is very, very important because that's how they function. That's their North Star. They need to save face. They need to feel that they have done the right thing within their context. And a lot of times that is not very intuitive to us in the West, because for us in the West, often saving face means things like following the law, making money, succeeding, and not necessarily, doing the right thing. I mean, we can see this very clearly, for example, with the situation right now in AI, where we have, I think, the good guys and the bad guys. The bad guys like Google and OpenAI and Anthropic are trying to censor and control everything. And the good guys, NVIDIA and Grok and others, Perplexity, they're not like that. And we still tolerate both. I think in China, that wouldn't be, you cannot have a demarcation line like that. It would be much more blurred. So here we're kind of much more, it's either black or white, and it's going to be a fight, and hopefully we win and they lose, and that's it. That's that. So I don't want to talk too much. I'm going to have a lot more discussions about Tai Pan, but again, I think the scene with Cole Struen and his father, and the importance of saving face, and the importance of finding solutions that are complex but fill out all the boxes, check out all the boxes. I think those are very, very important tidbits for people who try to understand China. Thank you.